accidents.
We're telling you
why be next.
So listen to us. Don't drive and text.
Keep Cleveland safe and do not text when you drive.
The King of the Ring is back once again, and this time is going through an evolution and change because it's all about the Queen of the Ring as well. Hello, everybody. I'm Ronnie Duncan, and we're going to be bringing you fights from Columbus, Ohio, home of the Buckeyes, but home of the King of the Ring. We come back. We'll get ready with our first fight of the night.
Coming up on King of the Ring Boxing, we have Michael Dawson Jr. versus Tyshawn Humphrey, Owen Paquette versus Montez Green, Deshaun Ross against Ronnie Hines, Karan Spivey and Christopher Smith, Jalen Hill against Marcel Bonner, Romeo Webb against Dante Benjamin, Natasha McCall against Katie Harrington, Yasmin Rosales against Serena Vasquez, Katrina Thomas against Eliana Oxlage, Ashley Silva against Mariah Bonner, Kalisha Evans against Serenity Maury, Emily Reyes against Simone Wagone, and for our Queen of the Ring Championship, Stephanie Malone taking on Morel McCain.
Joining me right here is Tiffany Logan. And Tiffany, we just want to say it is a pleasure to have you here. We're about ready for our very first bout of the evening. It's the little fellas, and they're not going to be putting in too many minutes, but we're going to see a lot of skill. And when we talk about that, that's Owen Paquette out of the Black Eye Boxing Club from Ontario, Canada, taking on Montez Green from Columbus, Ohio, the Next Generation Boxing Club. And these young men are early in the game, but I can tell you something about the young man in the red corner. He is one heck of a young fighter. The last time we saw him was in Cleveland, Ohio, and he happened to take on one of the very touted brothers from a group of young men in Cleveland, Ohio, who put it on, and when they get in the ring, they do their things in great numbers. We're having some difficulties right now because the referee wants to make sure that some of the lighting changes upstairs and that it doesn't get into the way of the boxers, and making sure everything is crystal clear, so he's waving them down. You remember the amateur game. How important is this for the stage when you move from the amateurs to the pros?
It's absolutely important. Anything can glare, can throw your vision off. It's important to not have any interference while you're in there. You have tunnel vision, and you don't need anything interrupting that. So it's quite important.
One of the fighters going to be fighting is Owen Paquette, and a young lady who told us all about her is, of course, Kelsey McPhee. I talked to her prior to the bout. Let's listen to that interview because Kelsey says he's good. So before we go to our next fight, and that will be Owen Paquette, I decided to bring a young lady with me by the name of Kelsey McPhee, who knows a little bit about boxing because you're a boxer yourself. Now, you were supposed to be on this card. Unfortunately, your fighter couldn't make it. Why was the case?
Because she was overweight, and I was I wasn't enough to fight.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that this young lady is from Canada. What part of Canada are you from?
Brantford, Ontario.
And Brantford, Ontario, Canada is the home of the great Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player, some will say, of all time. How proud are you knowing that you're from that same area?
Very happy. I'm really happy I was born there, and yeah.
Sounds good. Now, there's a young man that's about to fight that you're going to give us a scouting report on, and I'm talking about Owen Paquette. Now, you have been in the gym with him. You know how good he is. He's got the red hair, but something tells me he's a ball of fire.
Yeah, he's very fast, very powerful, and I think, yeah,
We're going to find out how fast and how powerful. As a matter of fact, Miss Kelsey McPhee, She's going to join me at ringside for that bout. Let's go up and see if Owen is all that she claims he is. All right, Kelsey, we appreciate that interview with her. Now it's time to get ready for our first bout of the evening. It is, of course, the King of the Ring Best in Boxing Series number 8. And it is the war. It is USA against Canada, North against the South. International boxing flavor, but you got to love it when you have two young kids who are just so young in the game. Now, Montez Green, who happens to be from Columbus, Ohio, has only been boxing for about 3 years. What he loves the video games, and he loves going to school. What I loved about him is that he said, for sure, I've never gotten a D or an F. He all has passing grades when it comes to his education. So he's not just thinking boxing long term, he's thinking of education. He says, hey, I'm not a fool, I'm going to stay in school. That's the bell for round number 1, and coming out fast is Owen Parquet. And the red moving straight ahead. Tiffany, what you got to admire about him is his aggressiveness.
Absolutely. He came out strong. He's standing his ground. But I got to tell you, blue corner is not fighting, not backing down, rather.
The blue corner is
nice
maybe
slip.
not backing down, but we can tell who has maybe the better skill. And as Parquet was able to put that combination together of the left and right hand, it was evident who is the better schooled fighter at this early stage in their boxing career. Owen Parquet,
Southpaw
corner is calling out 3 or 2, but Owen Parquet just got hit with an overhand right that time by Montez Green. And Green is coming forward himself now, and now all of a sudden it's not the same. And Tiffany Logan, I think perhaps you saw something I didn't see.
Absolutely.
That Montez Green came to fight as well.
Absolutely. He's not backing down. It looks like the tables might be turning a little bit.
Tables are definitely turning, and you can tell that Owen Parquet started to hold on. That's the bell for round number 1. I tell you what, Tiffany, the little fellas came out, and you know, they say that Owen Parquet is like a ball of fire because he has the red hair. Well, guess what? The tables got turned because at the end of round number 1, it was Montez Green acting like the ball of fire with the red hair and turning up the heat in the ring.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a great round.
Great round of boxing when you consider these young fellas as they were throwing punches in bunches. We're coming to you from live in Columbus, Ohio. We're doing the North against the South. We're doing United States against Canada. We've got fighters on this card from Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois. We even have a fighter from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Not bad when you consider how many talented fighters we have from all over the country and some parts of the globe that have come here to Columbus, Ohio. You know, Tiffany, you and I were talking before, and we talked about the emergence and the revolution of how women have done in the sport of amateur boxing. But when you start off this young, like you have Owen Parquet and you've got Montez Green, that says a lot. This is where you learn those early skills that become so valuable to you in the end.
Absolutely, and these skills are also life lessons. They're not just in the ring. Discipline, respect, mostly discipline is going to last these kids throughout their teenage years and their adult life, young life.
Well, I'm almost sure one thing is going to happen once both of these fighters get back into the corner, and maybe not so much for Montez Green, but for Owen Parquet. And that is, if you're going to throw punches, don't make them so wide, make them straight. Nice little right hand that time. Owen Parquet holding and hitting. The referee steps in. Have you noticed the evolution of this
southpaw.
fight? And maybe that's the difference. Maybe Owen Parquet had never seen a southpaw before. And I think that can be the difference because of the simple fact he's getting hit with shots that he's never been hit with before.
Right at the bell. Nice.
Tell you what, pretty good action when you consider what these two young men have done. And the 2 rounds, I love the camaraderie. At the end of that round, you would have thought it was the end of the fight, the way that Parquet reached out and touched. If I'm in Parquet's corner right now, he's got to turn it up, but he's got to be more conventional. He can't be wild. He has to step in, start with his jab, and hopefully hurt Green with the right hand. Where Green, both fighters are going wild, his punch is a lot shorter, and I think that is why he has had the advantage since the very end of round number 1. And let's face it, in my opinion, he took round number 2.
I think they're both going to leave everything on the mat right now this last round, and I don't know how to call this one. I'm gonna have to go with Montez.
Montez Green, like I thought. I think he's leading on points right now, but the fight is not won in the second round. It's a 3-round competition going 1 minute. Ronnie Duncan along with Tiffany Logan coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. It is the best in the best of the boxing series, the King of the Ring, volume number 8. They call it the War. Got a nice little war emerging here. Montez Green in the black top. And the guy up against the rope in the red is Owen Parquette, and Owen Parquette is getting laid out.
Both of these young men need to get their feet a little less wide because the way they're throwing right now, somebody might lose their balance. They are giving it all they got. This is a fight.
This is a high energy fight. I love the directions he's getting. Look at that. Montez Green continues to go back and go forward while Owen Parquette is holding on and trying to punch. And that is the bell for the end of round number 3. These two young men did their thing in the ring. Pretty impressive. And if you talk about activity, and when we speak of moving forward and being effective and being the aggressor of the competition, you've got to look at Montez Green and say, this young man who said, look, I get nothing but passing grades, he may have gotten the passing grade here in the School of Hard Knocks in this ring tonight.
If it was up to me, if I was a teacher, I'd have to go ahead and give him an A on this one. And although I'm not judging right now, I'd have to say I'd have to give it to Montez, the blue corner. Even though the red won the first round convincingly, I think Montez came out and it was a great fight, but I think I'm going to have to give this one to Montez.
Well, it's a learning lesson for both young men. Consider their ages, consider the mere fact that they're not even teenagers right now. Owen Parquette, who comes to us from the Black Eye Boxing Club from Brantford, Ontario, Canada, home of the great Wayne Gretzky. And then, of course, you can say Montez Green, Columbus, Ohio, home of James Buster Douglas, former heavyweight champion of the world. Yes, it is boxing at its best. It is the King of the Ring boxing series. Our very first bout of this competition is the young fellas. And I tell you what, there's one young man who is standing there and he looks like a winner, and that is Montez Green. Let's take a look at some of the action that we had here in round number 1. And as you can see, as the fight progressed into round number 2 as well as round number 3, it was all about the aggressive announcing that was being done.
Get the scorecard, you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to pick out the winner of this fight. Let's give both of these young men a round of applause. A round of applause because of the cause, and we're talking about the King of the Ring boxing series. Our judging officials have spoken, and the winner by decision in the red corner, Owen Parquette. So there you have it. Owen Parquette is your winner of that competition, and I didn't see that one coming. Owen Parquette, the winner of that competition. What could the judges have possibly seen that we didn't see?
I'm not sure. Maybe they only saw the first round. I'm not real sure, but I definitely I would have gone with the blue corner, Montez. But it was a great fight.
Two very talented young fighters, and I thought that when it came to the aggressive nature, it was, but maybe it was the skill. Maybe it was the mere fact that if you score it as a professional bout, you give it to Green. But if you score it under amateur rules, then there is a case for Owen Parquette. Owen Parquette out of Brantford, Ontario, Canada. We're going to take an opportunity and talk to Owen Parquette in just a minute and see how he feels about the fight. You are watching TV 20 because we are Cleveland.
Mayor Frank Jackson and the City of Cleveland are committed to keeping your neighborhood clean and green through the use of the city-issued trash and recycling carts. It's safe, convenient, and mandatory. For more information, contact the Cleveland Division of Waste Collection at 216-664-3717.
All right, fight fans, it's time for our next bout. It is the Sean Ross against Ronnie Hines. Sean Ross comes to us from Team Jones in Louisville, Kentucky. Please welcome in the red corner, Deshaun Ross. His opponent in the blue corner, coming in at the 200-pound weight class from the Bob Davis Boxing Club in Cleveland, Ohio, Ronnie Hines.
So you want me to be here? I can do this and this, let you know what corner wins. That way you ain't got to go back and forth. I just do this. You know, this corner, if I do this, that corner.
No.
Ain't it? Close it.
All right, we're getting ready for our next bout of the evening, and of course, it's the heavyweight division that you know a lot about. You were chasing down the Von der Ward for a minute. You're chasing down the Layla Ali, but now we're talking about 201 pounds. It is in the red corner, Deshaun Ross taking on Ronnie Hines in the blue corner. Ronnie Hines bringing that jab, and that's got to be impressive here in round number one. Young man Deshaun Ross out of Louisville, Kentucky, he and I had a conversation earlier. I was asking him, I said, who do you think is one of the best basketball players ever to come out of Louisville, Kentucky? And we went around, and he was talking Daryl Griffith. I took him old school. I went Wes Unseld, outside of Wilt Chamberlain, the only man ever to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the NBA in his first season.
Wow.
Wes Unseld, formerly of the Baltimore Bullets, Washington Bullets, Capitol Bullets, back in the day. One thing you got to say about Ronnie Hines in the white trunks is that he packs a very powerful punch. You can hear when he lands anytime on Hines.
Sure, I think he needs to get his left foot right inside since he's a southpaw. Deshaun's a southpaw. That was a nice hit.
That overhand right is doing a little bit of damage. It comes with a lot of power. One thing I can tell you about Ronnie Hines is that he's confident. But if you've ever met Deshaun Ross, that is where confidence takes it to a whole nother level. Not afraid of anything or anyone. And he's proven that here in round number one.
You have to have that kind of mindset to be a pugilist.
The one thing that had us so impressed with Ronnie Hines early, he seems to have abandoned, and that's the jab. He had the better jab at the beginning of this fight. Tiffany, how was Deshaun Ross able to take the effectiveness of that jab away?
Being a southpaw, he's able to maneuver to his right a lot quicker than his opponent at the moment.
Referee didn't like that hitting and holding. That time that jab stuck up the neck of Deshaun Ross. Ronnie Hines trying to move around.
Yeah.
Referee wants the flash taken off by one of the ringside help of Ronnie Hines. You know what's impressive, and this is something I'm almost sure would have been a game plan for you against a Von der Ward, being a smaller fighter. You wanted to work that body first and to get upstairs.
Absolutely, that's the ticket, to work your way low, chop them down like a tree.
Action in round number one. There was an overhand right that time that hit on the head of Ronnie Hines, and Ronnie Hines didn't like it. As a matter of fact, I didn't like the way he responded to that right hand. Ronnie Hines in the all blue, in the blue corner, coming out of the Bob Davis Boxing Club in Cleveland, Ohio, taking on a young man, Deshaun Ross, out of Louisville, Kentucky. And that's the bell for the round number one. Not a bad way to go. Two young fighters trying to get it on and making it look right. So, Tiffany, you and I looked at the first fight, and I talked to Owen Parquette, and he was not surprised that he won, but he knew it was a close fight. And he knew that Montez Green gave him all that he can handle. I think it's very interesting anytime you have a young fighter who can admit, I may have gotten away with one, but I've got to be busier the next time out. And that's what I will admire and always enjoy about watching Owen Parquette, because even though Montez Green lost, he lost with dignity. You didn't see him acting up in the ring. And to get that kind of ring generalship and camaraderie at such a young age says a lot to the people who are training him, to his parents, and like you said, the discipline of boxing.
Absolutely. They demonstrated that sportsmanship in between each round, as each round ended, they both gave each other a hug. And I think that's something that even adults could do better at, but these two young fighters did that every single round.
All right, now we're talking to heavyweights, 201 pounds. We're talking to young man in the all blue, Ronnie Hines, taking on Deshaun Ross out of Team Jones in Louisville. Action starting to heat up a little bit.
At the end of that last round, it looked like blue corner had a hand injury, but it looks like he must have fixed that during the break.
It don't hurt no more. In some respects, Tiffany, is that old word. You just got to suck it up.
Just got to suck it up and keep going.
That's right. Tiffany Logan along with Ronnie Duncan giving you the boxing action. This is the King of the Ring Best in Boxing Series number 8, The War, the USA versus Canada, North versus South. Trying to keep that distance, and that right hand left combination that time by Ronnie Hines, with his hands was pretty impressive. Yeah. Hines is the taller fighter, and so many times for people who are tall, it's very hard for them to fight tall. Now see, what he's doing right now is that he's reaching down and going to the sides of Deshaun Ross. That gives Deshaun Ross an advantage, and it takes away the advantage that Ronnie Hines has. He's the taller fighter.
Absolutely.
Keep him on the end of the jab.
Absolutely. Oh, nice right. Nice left hand. See that straight left? He's utilizing that southpaw left straight jab. Straight left.
Maybe he's just more effective throwing that left hand from that position. And what a left hand he was able to trigger that time.
Well,
and that jab is doing all kind of damage. And as you can see, Deshaun Ross is now breathing heavy.
Absolutely. Deshaun Ross needs to get those hands up. Protection right now should be his main focus.
Deshaun Ross is starting to hold on. So now this fight in round number 2 becomes a fight in how we define conditioning.
Absolutely.
Ronnie Hines has been able to slow things down, but dictate the pace of this fight with his jab, and there it is right there. Deshaun Ross has spurts of energy, but how long can he keep it up? There's that jab again.
He's got to get those hands up. He's got to protect his face. He's got to put that chin down.
That jab is deadly. That jab has been deadly. Referee making sure that he doesn't put his forearm forward as well. What I liked about Hines that time in round number 2, he went with the jab to the chest and followed it right back up to the head. And he dictated the entire pace of round number 2 with his jab. He was able to fight comfortably, fighting tall.
Yes.
When you go ahead and get down to the size of your opponent, especially if you're taller than your opponent, you're giving them an advantage, and
Absolutely.
now you're at a disadvantage.
Because you're taking away the arm length, the reach. Absolutely.
Take a look at some of that action in round number 2. And once again, it was that magnificent jab that we saw so much by Ronnie Hines out of the Bob Davis Boxing Club in Cleveland, Ohio. Butch Davis, whose dad, the late Bob Davis, the gym is named after, is in the corner of Ronnie Hines, giving him superior instruction as to what he needs to do. You know, Hines has that really strong, athletic, gifted body. He's tall, he's rangy, and he appears to have a little bit of power. But could it be power disguised as speed?
It could be. We will see in this third round. If he continues to dictate the pace of the fight and stay his distance, not let his opponent crowd up on him, he might be able to pull this off.
All right, the third and final round. And once again, it's that jab.
Straight left.
Referee gives a standing 8 count because that time Deshaun Ross was taking too much punishment. body to the head. Barrage of punches that time by Ronnie Hines. Pretty active crowd here tonight. Not a bad crowd at Live. Venue just outside of Columbus, Ohio, off of Rice Road in Chantilly. We're bringing you action here on TV 20. And once again, it's all about Ronnie Hines.
He's throwing some deadly combinations, and there goes the mouthpiece.
And there goes the mouthpiece, and the referee has stopped the contest. That will be your winner, Ronnie Hines, out of Cleveland, Ohio. What happened was Deshaun Ross just simply took too many clean and clear punches. Tiffany, if you could replay that back and what you saw there in the third and final round, what was the reason for the lack of energy or the lack of a response that we were seeing from Deshaun Ross?
I think you mentioned it early in the first round that this is going to be, it looks like, conditioning. I think the red corner just frankly got tired. I think he just ran out of gas.
Well, that was the story, and your winner is going to be Ronnie Hines, stopping this competition and contest. You know, the game of boxing has really taken on a whole new flavor. And one of the young ladies that we're going to see a little bit later is Morel McCain, and she has been a queen of the ring in the King of the Ring boxing series. I look forward to her competition as she gets ready to take on a young lady by the name Malone, who's a two-time national champion. You will see that, of course, later on the King of the Ring boxing series. Well, Tiffany, I think it's pretty academic. We know who the winner is. Let's go up to the ring and find out. And, of course, it's academic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to announce the winner of our competition. The referee stops the contest, and round number 3, Rodney Hines. Well, there it is. Rodney Hines is your winner of the competition. The referee stops the contest. And pretty academic when you consider how well and what we saw in the young man from Cleveland, Ohio. We'll come right back with much more action. We're talking about the best of the best. King of the Ring boxing series number 8. We're about to get out of the gate. Ronnie Duncan, Tiffany Logan, we'll be back.
One in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting ready for our next bout, and I've been told this is King of the Ring boxing series number 9. So we grew up before we even got it going. Let's go up to the ring and find out exactly who do we have coming into the ring and exactly who we expect to put on a show. Our next bout, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Live, it is in the 165-pound weight class. They will be 2-minute rounds. Introducing first, in the red corner, from the Spearman Boxing Club out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Karan Spivey. And his opponent in the blue corner, from the Next Generation Boxing Club, right here in Seabus, Columbus, Ohio, Christopher Smith. So there you have it, our opponents for the very next bout. Of course, we're talking Christopher Smith, and we're talking Karan Spivey. 165-pound weight class. Tiffany Logan, what you know about that class is we're going to see a bunch of power, a bunch of speed, and a lot of activity.
Yeah, it's about to be a whirlwind right now.
These fighters are getting ready, and they know that the house continues to build. Nice crowd on hand to see a bunch of amateur boxing. And the venue is proper for the amount of people that we have here. You know, you can move around, you can get a good seat. Every seat is a great seat. great venue for amateur or even professional boxing, depending upon who you bring in and how many tickets you can sell. But this type of exposure has been outstanding for both of these fighters, and I'm looking forward to it. They're expecting, of course, 3 rounds. They're 2-minute rounds. Now, Tiffany, the reason we have 2-minute rounds in a fight like this is because of the simple fact that we go from either being open or novice. And when you're in a novice class, you really haven't had enough fights on your passport to say, okay, I can fight 3-minute rounds, which is the customary way to fight for an amateur, especially those who end up going for national championships, such as the Golden Gloves and what have you. Let's go up to the ring for our very first round. And as you can see in the blue corner is a young man from, of course, the Next Generation Boxing Club in Columbus, Ohio, Christopher Smith. Christopher Smith has on, of course, the blue, and he has the headgear that's dark, while the young man with the headgear in the red is Karan Spivey. Now, I got a chance to talk to Karan Spivey. I said, Karan, you know what, where'd you go to high school there in Indianapolis? He said, North Central. Well, you know, there's a pretty good basketball player who plays for the Houston Rockets who went to North Central High School, and maybe one of the reasons why they're a favorite to win the NBA championship. Now, of course, I know a lot of you are saying, oh, wow, I didn't know that James Harden went. No, it's not James Harden. It's the very talented Eric Gordon out of Indianapolis. He went to North Central High School. Karan Spivey is 18 years old, and guess who his favorite fighter is? Canelo Alvarez. So I asked him prior to the fight, and that's the young man in the red headgear. I said, were you disappointed that the May 5th against Golovkin didn't happen because of the steroids? And he said, well, the final verdict isn't out yet. He knew the April 19th date. He knew that there could be the meat contamination. He was not about to sell out his favorite fighter, Canelo Alvarez. And that, of course, is the young man out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Karan Spivey. Spivey, of course, with the red gloves on, moving forward. Spivey is having some issues because he's taking on a taller fighter who doesn't want him to get inside. Both fighters throwing shots right there. Spivey trying to lead with a jab to move in. Spivey goes down low. And Christopher Smith is coming through with some very heavy shots with his first initial punch. A little holding and hitting. The referee doesn't like that. And that's exactly why he warned both fighters, especially Christopher Smith. Very tight round in round number 1, very competitive round in round number 1, and I think that goes to the judges. You know, who do they think is the winner of that particular bout? Or round, I should say. We have been corrected by our promoter, Doug Patterson Sr. He says this is the King of the Ring Best in Boxing Series number 9. He said, if you don't get it right, number 9, I'm going to have to beat you behind. I said, try it, old man, if you want. Rumble, young man, rumble. Ronnie Duncan, Tiffany Logan. Tiffany, what are you doing these days? I mean, when we knew you back in the day when I was doing sports at WSYX, I knew you as this young lady who was just hell on wheels, wanted to fight anybody, anytime, man or woman. As a matter of fact, I do recall you challenging a guy and talking about, I'll fight you in the ring, and the commission wouldn't allow it. So what are you doing now?
Pretty much the same thing. Pretty much a a trend center, and I have my own company at this time, and just being a grandma, and just enjoying these young people, and just trying to stay connected to the boxing world.
Good enough. Tiffany Logan, of course, one of the great pros from back in the day, from right here, and an ambassador of boxing. And you got to know the game to know her and the type of individual she was. When she got in the ring, she was a monster. Outside the ring, she was an angel. Thank God I ran into the angel. All right. I thought the headgear was going to be a problem in this fight. Yeah. And Christopher Smith, has a lot of hair on the top of his head. And they didn't make when headgear was invented, they did not have Christopher Smith in mind. I can tell you that right now.
Absolutely not. It does give him an opportunity to catch a quick breath, though.
And that's exactly sometimes what you need in a fast-paced fight like this. Fighters recognizing that each round is only 2 minutes in a situation like this.
It feels like 15. Oh.
Both of these fighters are active, and both fighters are trying to figure out, as Karan Spivey got a little tangled up in the rope. He got beat by the ring, the ring ropes.
That was a first.
I haven't seen that in a long, long time. I mean, this is challenging.
Wow.
He finally gets his hand out of there. And now both fighters have had an opportunity to have some wardrobe malfunctions be taken care of. Now, that was a very dangerous punch that time thrown by Christopher.
Absolutely.
Because had a left hook come, he would have been sitting on his butt. And he threw that hook from a very wide distance instead of being very close. I mean, the only time you throw a punch like that is when you get somebody up against the rope, and that way you have very little room to make a mistake. He left himself wide open. Unfortunately, Spivey was not able to take advantage of it. These guys are going at it. They're just trying to find a room to punch, and they can't find it.
Spivey needs to sit down on his punches a little more. He's standing straight up. And the blue corner, obviously, if he can get through the headgear issue, we might.
Well, you know, he's got a big dreadlocks.
Yeah.
Look at that bun up on the top of his head. And so
yeah, he needs
when
special
you've got all
equipment.
that, you need special equipment, and somebody needs to come up with a new invention because they might be able to make a lot of money. There's a lot of boxes with a bunch of dreads these days.
Helmets, too. That might be a great idea.
Boxing action on TV 20. Ronnie Duncan along with Tiffany Logan. But when we talk about being a grandma, and I have to admit to you, being a granddad has been one of the greatest joys of my life. It takes you to a whole nother dimension. I wish this fight would go to another dimension. This holding and the hitting ain't going too far for me right now. And once again, it's the headgear once again.
He's gonna.
They might have to disqualify him because of the headgear, because it's becoming too much of a problem. And if it continues to be a problem, the referee and the commission here is going to have to make a decision as to whether or not to disqualify him. You know, this fight has gone far too long because of the headgear. We'd be in round number 3 by now. You got to wonder whether or not they can fix it and get it right.
A delay like this in about really does something to your momentum, so I hope they can get this rectified quickly.
So if you're in the corner of Spivey, you want him to lay down more in his punches. If you're in the corner of Smith, what do you do to make sure you don't get tied up?
Well, as Spivey rushes him, he needs to be able to either scoot to the left, maneuver to the right. He has to pivot. He's not pivoting. He's coming straight ahead and running right into Spivey's straight hand.
And that is finally the end of round number 2. I think you said it right, Tiffany. All you got to do is take a step, slide. All you have to do is a little bit of movement.
Pivot.
And that's where pivot, absolutely. That's where boxing becomes an education in the ring, in the process. And that's why this is a 2-minute round. Because they're not
like
at that
12.
yeah, but it's not they're not at that part of their career where they've had the education and they've graduated to the next level. How do I get away from someone who's coming straight at me? You move to the side, lateral movement, to the left or to the right. You don't want to take your head backwards, but you want to be in a position where you can punch. That being said, because of the activity of the blows that have landed, who's winning this fight right now, in your opinion?
I would have to say our blue corner.
I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you.
I wouldn't count the red corner out, though. But
no, you can't count him out.
As of right now,
see, once again, there's Spivey coming in. And Spivey continues to move his hands. And so he recognizes, look, I'm capturing the amateur game. I've got to move my hands. I've got to be active. And in the amateur game, just like we found out in the first fight of the night, Parquet, you don't have to be the most impressive puncher, but you've got to punch and score in areas that are effective in what the judges see.
Absolutely. Spivey is trying to smother him because of his long arms and reach. It's working for him sometimes, but not all the time.
Nice little right hand that time.
He needs to hold up his left hand. It's down really low. He's going to get caught with a right hook.
So that's if Spivey can get in there and do it. Smith coming forward.
Spivey really needs to get his left hand up.
See exactly what you're talking about. A check left hook could really do some damage along with a right hand.
Just caught that right hand.
I'm telling you, Christopher Smith has had so many wardrobe malfunctions in this fight. Why is Christopher Smith so reluctant to pull the trigger? Not that time. That left hook was able to get inside. Christopher Smith, the taller fighter, fighting tall. Pumping that jab. And Spivey just can't seem to touch him. And that's the bell for the round. Number 3 has ended. 3 spirited rounds for these two young men. One out of Indianapolis, the other out of Columbus, Ohio. Boxing action from live in Columbus, Ohio. And the judges will have to make a decision once again. So referee has stopped the contest in 1. We knew who the winner was going to be in that one. Now we have to say, these are the same judges that saw Montez Green lose to Paquette. With that being the case, I'm not even going to try to say.
I'm not sure at this point.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. All right, it's time to go up to the ring to find out who is the winner of this competition between these two middleweights. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give both of these fighters a round of applause. 3 spirited rounds. The winner in the red corner, Karan Spivey. Karan Spivey is the winner in the red corner of our bout of middleweights. And I tell you what, once again, when you speak of what you see compared to what we see and what the judges see can be totally different. Had an opportunity to talk to a fighter who didn't fight today. Her name is Asia Smith. I talked to Asia about how female boxing, women's boxing, has gone to a new level. You know, we talk about king and queen of the ring. Well, one of the queens of the ring happens to be Asia Smith, who's not fighting, and obviously out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now, which gym do you represent?
Right now, I'm representing Untouchable Boxing.
Untouchable Boxing. The Cleveland fight scene has been pretty awesome, especially for the young ladies. You yourself had a bounce-back win over a young lady that you lost to. Tell me how great or how good the competition is in Northeast Ohio, but more importantly, Cleveland.
The competition is really great. It's kind of tough, and sometimes it can be a little hard because, you know, especially my weight division where it's hard for me to get fights, you know. But right now, I think it's pretty tough because in like the higher weight classes, I'm starting to see more girls. Other than my weight class, like 125, is less girls. So
one thing that we have to admit, that boxing has taken a leap and bounds. And one of the reasons why amateur boxing in Ohio has taken that leaps and bounds is King of the Ring Boxing Series. Puts you on TV, gives you a pro-style audience. How well has King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring in this case, helped to prepare you for what you want to do down the line?
King of the Ring, aka Queen of the Ring, has prepared me because, like, being in front of the camera, sometimes it can be a little nervous, but it prepares me in a sense because, like getting to the next level, you know, I can look forward. This is something that I can look forward to, you know, as in speaking in front of the camera and
You're doing good, though.
And the mic.
All right. Thanks a lot, Asia. We appreciate it. Now it's time for our next bout. Let's go up and find out who our fighters are and where they represent. All right, fight fans, it's time for our next bout of the evening. This bout comes in the 141-pound weight class. Introducing first, in the red corner, from the Dodge Recreation Boxing Club in Columbus, Ohio, please welcome Jalen Hill. His opponent in the blue corner fights out of the Bob Davis Boxing Club from Cleveland, Ohio. This young man has fought in the United States Nationals. Please welcome Marcel Bonner. All right, so there we have our next bout of the evening is Marcel Bonner and the all black out of the blue corner taking on a young man, Jalen Hill, in the red corner from Columbus, Ohio. It's that Ohio rivalry between Cleveland and Columbus. You know something about that?
Yeah, I thought we were friends. I don't know how that happened.
Nobody's friends in the boxing
It's a friendly
ring.
rivalry.
All righty. King of the Ring Boxing Series number 9. And, of course, our fighters are ready. Jalen Hill, Dodge Recreation Boxing Club, Columbus, Ohio. And, of course, he's getting ready to take on Marcel Bonner. Bonner went to the Nationals this past a few months back. Fought the number 1 fighter in the country. Went the distance. The number 1 fighter said to him, I don't know who you are and where you're from, but if I ever see you again, I know I'm going to have to work even harder. That's respect.
That's respect. He needs to go pro.
Yeah.
That's respect.
You know, you and I were talking to Marcel just briefly as he came over. He says, I'm on the card. He said Elhan Navati couldn't make it. And at the last minute, he came down here, didn't know for sure whether he was fighting, and took the fight on less than 24-hour notice. Not bad.
Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Now, you can tell both of these fighters are evenly matched in skill.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're into the category that you love, 3-minute rounds.
Yes, this gives an opportunity for you to see both opponents, all their skills, even their flaws. This is going to be a good fight.
And you can tell that by the mere fact that both young men are trying to establish the jab.
You can tell they have
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
mutual respect for each other. You can tell just by the apprehension and the decisiveness. It's going to be a great bout.
Jalen Hill moving forward. Now, when we talk about getting distance and moving around right to left, Marcel Bonner is doing just that. Even though he took a right hand that time, he was able to get away, and that his jab, and he's doing some calculating boxing where he's looking for the angles and looking for the opening all at the same time.
I agree. It looks like Bonner's just studying right now, taking this opportunity to study his opponent.
Time he took a sweeping right hand, short right hand that time, by Jalen Hill. Both of these fighters are pretty tall for 141-pounders.
Mm-hmm.
Bonner somewhere around 5'11". Looks like Jalen Hill can then be anywhere between 6 feet and 6'1". Jalen Hill is built tall. Look how rangy he is. He's able to put out that jab. Look at him moving forward. Straight right hand coming across. And he's got Bonner in a little bit of trouble up against the ropes. And that's the end of round number 1. Marcel Bonner and Jalen Hill. Put it this way. The one thing you know about those two individuals, they've been down this lane before. It's quite obvious. We're not talking about two guys who learned how to box yesterday. And they are not far from going to the next level. When we were talking to Marcel Bonner, I said, how much longer are you going to do this? He said, I want to get into nationals this year. I guarantee you that is the same collective goal as Jalen Hill. At this stage of an amateur career, you know you are no more than just a second away from being an Olympian and representing the United States on the grandest stage of them all and putting yourself in a position to possibly win a medal. Round number 2 coming up between Marcel Bonner and Jalen Hill, 141-pound weight class. Remember, folks, these rounds go 3 minutes a round. Round number 2, another wardrobe malfunction as they work on the trunks of Jalen Hill in the corner number red.
I think we're going to see a whole different round. I think Bonner had a chance to study his opponent. I think it's going to be a different.
Whoa, overhand right that almost connected. And that's because of what? Hill's got that left all the way at his waist. You see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got to get those hands up.
There it is again. He's trying to connect on that overhand right.
Defense is the best policy.
Don't you think Jalen Hill trunks are pretty odd? The belt line? They're almost on his chest.
Yeah,
in the blue.
Almost. Is that a new thing or I'm not?
Marcel Bonner is trying to make him hit and miss. Nice body shot. What you've got to love about Jalen Hill does not stop punching until the referee says stop. That's what I like about Jalen Hill. Left hook that time, counter left. Try to follow by right hand. Marcel Bonner is coming through. Strong punches by Bonner in the middle of the ring.
I think those few hits to the back of Bonner's head kind of made him look at this a little differently.
Bonner said playtime is over. He's come out with a brand new aggression in this fight. Oh, man, did you hear Jalen Hill look at Marcel Bonner and say, you ain't got nothing on me, son? Are you kidding me?
I think he actually barked. I think that's what that meant.
Oh, man.
That was explosive.
That's like Columbus saying, Cleveland, step up your game.
Pretty much. Sounds like fighting words to me.
Do you still get inspired when you see this stuff, man?
Yes, every time. Never have an opportunity. My heart is pounding right now. I just want to get in there and tell each opponent, look, do this. Yeah, it's difficult.
Former fighters living out their frustration. You may no longer be in the ring, but the ring never leaves you. All right, we're getting ready for the third and final round. This has been a good scrap. Jalen Hill and Marcel Bonner. Round number 3, third and final round. Jalen Hill comes out for right hand, overhand right, tries to get the attention of Marcel Bonner. Bonner stepping up, and he put Jalen Hill on notice with that jab. Stuck his head straight up. The time, the posture, and pose is over. It's time to get down with the get down. It's time to put up a shut up, get down and throw down. There's about to be a beat down in C-Town tonight. Columbus, Ohio is the site of the venue. The Live is the venue. We're just outside of Columbus, Ohio. A young man from Columbus in the blue trunks. And of course, there you have it. You know what? It's called the shoe shine, and that's exactly what you got from Marcel Bonner. And look at that time. Jalen Hill lifted him up. These young men are not playing. And Marcel Bonner is proving to him, I'm a man. I've been in this game before. Look at that. Marcel Bonner putting punches in combination. Both of these punches. None of what Jalen Hill tried to land, and Marcel Bonner was able to get away from it all. His mobility in the ring has been something to be impressed with.
Jalen Hill is going to get disqualified if he keeps these kind of tactics up.
From Marcel Bonner, I jump right on him, and he does with a straight overhand left and a second one down the line. Okay, he's saying his forearm, the referee is saying his forearm is getting up in the face. Marcel Bonner with a counter left. Marcel Bonner with a lead right hand. Bonner playing possum. And once again, did you see the head and the neck of Hill go back? Jalen Hill is getting a lesson here in round number 3.
Jalen Hill needs to get his left hand up.
Whoa, my Nelly. This is going to go to the judges, and it's going to be worth it. All right, fight fans, let's give both of these fighters a round of applause. We saw 3 spirited rounds of boxing. Come on, Columbus, make some noise! What a fight. Both of these young men bringing the action, bringing the pain, and who do you have to blame but nobody? It is live. It is the best in the boxing series number 9. Jalen Hill and Marcel Bonner. Well, the trophies are sitting there. The judges are tabulating their scoring, and we are going to get a winner. Tiffany, you're my color analyst tonight. My lady, I need to know, who do you think is the winner of this fight and why before the judges give us who is going to win?
I think it's going to be our blue corner.
You think you're going to give it to the blue corner, and the blue corner is Marcel Bonner. Tell me why, Tiffany.
Several reasons. I think it was a pretty well matched fight. However, several of the tactics that I witnessed Jalil, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, Hill. That's kind of frowned upon. You know, we like good sportsmanship in the amateur and professional sports, and I just didn't see that here tonight with this young man.
All right, now it's time to find out who is the winner of this competition. Ladies and gentlemen, please give both of these fighters a round of applause. They gave us 3 exciting rounds of boxing. This bout went to the scorecards. The judges of USA Boxing score this fight. The winner in the blue corner, Marcel Bonner. Marcel Bonner is your winner in the blue corner. Well, there you have it, Tiffany. You were absolutely right. It is Marcel Bonner winning this fight, and you said it was because of the simple fact he was more aggressive, especially in that 3rd and final round when everything was up for grabs.
Absolutely. I called it, and like I said, that first round, and a lot of fighters use that first round to study and just get a feel of their opponent, and I think he did that very, very obviously well.
All right, we'll come back with much more action. It is the King of the Ring Boxing Series number 9, and we're going to talk to Marcel Bonner because he's getting ready for the fight that he had. We'll come right back, and we'll have more boxing action right here on the King of the Ring Boxing Series.
Car crashes, accidents. We're telling you
why be next.
So listen to us. Don't drive and text.
Keep Cleveland safe and do not text when you drive.
All right, fight fans, we're back here, of course, with the King of the Ring Boxing Series. Tiffany Logan had to go. We want to thank Tiffany for the time that she gave us, getting ready for, of course, our boxing matches here, and Tiffany has been outstanding calling some of the action with me. We just had a great fight, of course, Marcel Bonner taking on a young man out of Columbus, Ohio, Jalen Hill. We're going to get an opportunity to talk to Marcel a little bit later. Now we're getting ready for our next bout of the evening, and let's go to our ring announcer and find out. All right, fight fans, let's get ready for our next bout of the evening. Introducing first, in the red corner, this young man hails out of Indianapolis, Indiana, from the Christopher Moore House of Boxing Club. Please welcome Romello Webb. His opponent, out of Cleveland, Ohio, from the MLK Premier Boxing Club, Dante Benjamin. All right, we've got a good fight coming up. We're talking Dante Benjamin taking on the young man, Romello Webb. Join me at ringside to talk about his fight just a few minutes ago. It was the winner, Marcel Bonner. Marcel, tell us what was so impressive about the young man you fought, Jalen Hill. You guys weren't playing around, man. Talk to me.
Oh, yeah, he was kind of tough. He was real rugged and real rough. And those kind of styles win fights in the amateur. So I'm not really a rough fighter. I like to look pretty if I'm mostly pro. But I had to bring out the rough side today.
You had to bring out the rough side. You knew it was going to happen in the third and final round. You found a home for not only your left, but that overhand right. You noticed he was holding his left down pretty low, didn't you?
Yeah. If you've seen, I switched southpaw, and I was sitting with the straight left down. It worked every time.
And was that the advice of Push Davis in the corner?
No, I just knew it was going to work. He was so used to me being orthodox the whole fight. I had to switch it up the last round.
All right, now we've got, of course, Romello Webb out of Indianapolis, Indiana, taking on Dante Benjamin of the MLK Boxing Club of Cleveland, Ohio. You've ever seen Webb in the ring?
Nah, I've seen Dante.
All right. What do you know about Dante? What can you tell me about him?
Dante, he a good boxer, slick, real slick. I used to spar him back in the day. He got real good jab, he real tough. He gonna bring that dog out.
I tell you, that body shot that time by Dante on Webb really hurt him, and you could tell it slowed down the smaller fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Dante Benjamin in the all red with the blue and white gloves, taking on the young man in the red and white gloves. They both have on red tops, and that is Romello Webb. Have you noticed Webb stopped moving as much as he was moving earlier?
Yeah,
and now it's going to come right back down to Dante Benjamin getting that jab out there.
Yeah.
When you look back at your performance, is this one where you say to yourself, not only am I getting ready, but I'm getting sharp? I mean, let's face it, Elhan Nefhati was supposed to be fighting in this fight.
Right.
This may not have been a win for him because of the simple fact that the style that Jalen Hill possesses. When you consider the mere fact on less than 48 hours notice, you were asked to come in and fight and you won, what does that say about you and your conditioning and being ready, and what kind of lesson can young boxers learn from you?
You just got to train hard. You got to stay ready. You don't know when that call going to be. I said I had a fight, but he pulled out, so I still train as if I was fighting. So just in case something like this happened, I don't want to be off guard or anything like that.
If we can go back and think to your fight before I let you go, what was it about round number one? Because in my opinion, as well as Tiffany Logan, who was sitting here during the fight with me, we felt that you got off to a slow start.
Yeah.
What is the problem? Because I could tell that immediately you were trying to get off to a fast start, but it didn't happen. You went back to being old Marcel Bonner again.
Yeah, well, I'm more pro style, but I had to find out the hard way that pro is not going to win in amateur no matter how. If you clearly beating them, they like aggressive style. They like a whole bunch of punches. I like to start off slow, more pro style. But this is amateur. I had to learn that.
Good enough. Well, I tell you what, man, you're learning lessons and a very fast rate. We wish you the very best. I know pretty soon you're going to be turning pro, but you're looking forward to the Nationals. You've learned lessons from fighting the #1 contender in the United States for an Olympic gold medal and what people would say is an Olympian. And those valuable lessons that you've learned has led you to being one of the best young boxers, not only in the state of Ohio, not in the Midwest, but in the country in general. Once again, Marcel Bonner, we thank you for stopping by. The winner, of course, one of those former King of the Ring, one of those guys from Cleveland, Ohio, the Bob Davis Boxing Club. Cleveland represented, huh?
Yes, Cleveland. we definitely here. We here to stay.
Good enough. Marcel Bonner, we thank you. Let's get into round number two. We're talking Romello Webb out of Indianapolis. He's the shorter of the two fighters. He's got the red trunks along with the big white, and it says Webb there for him, taking on Dante Benjamin of the MLK Premier Boxing Club in Cleveland, Ohio. Things have slowed down here in round number two. But once again, when Dante wants to go ahead and pull the action to an active persuasion, he's the man who's in charge of the ring. Webb is a smaller fighter, and sometimes a smaller fighter is always going to have a disadvantage against a taller fighter. And what I love about what Dante Benjamin is doing is making sure that his jab is going to be the dictator in this competition. It is live boxing. It is coming to you, the King of the Ring, Best in Boxing Series number 9. They call it the USA against Canada. They call it North against South. They call it a war. We call it nothing but good action. Once again, really nice right hand by left hook that time by Dante Benjamin. And Dante Benjamin is putting on the heat. And the referee has sent him to a neutral corner because the mouthpiece of one of the fighters, and I believe That, of course, is Webb has come out, and you knew that was coming out because Webb was taking all kinds of punishment in the middle of the ring. Right hands, left hands, upside the head. That man wanted to lay down and go to bed. It is boxing right here. King of the Ring Boxing Series, Best in Boxing Series number 9. Doug Patterson Jr., Doug Patterson Sr. putting this together, and they continue to showcase some of the very best young boxers throughout this country. Coming up a little bit later, we're going to be talking to Doug Patterson Sr., who happens to be, of course, the man who has put this all together, and the reason why we've got Doug coming up to the ring, so we can have someone take a seat next to me. So Doug is going to join me, and we're going to talk about this. Tell you what, an exciting time. King of the Ring Boxing Series. Once again, all has been fine and all has been well, but it's all about the one and only Dontae Benjamin. Dontae Benjamin has done his job and has done it so effectively in rounds number 1 and rounds number 2. Boxing at its best, third and final round coming up of these two young men. And if you're going to win it, you got to win it. If you're going to lose it, you're going to lose it. Still standing, and you can tell he is gasping for air. That, of course, is the young man from Indianapolis, Indiana, Romello Webb. All right, here we are. Third and final round. Going to be joining me at the ringside in just a couple of minutes is Doug Patterson. I tell you, Dontae Benjamin is putting on a show, and these are power punches that he is landing on Webb. Romello Webb has no answers for Dontae Benjamin and what he has been doing. Round number 3, third and final round. Joining me right now at the ringside is Doug Patterson. Doug, as you look at this fight, as a former referee, as a guy who's been in there, as a third person in the ring, you've got to be impressed with the young man from Cleveland, Ohio, the MLK Premier Boxing Club, Dontae Benjamin, fighting tall and staying tall.
You know, Ronnie, looking at that, and they throwing haymakers right now. He's setting him up. The referee's got to get ready to do an 8 count. No, a mouthpiece came out. When the mouthpiece come out, that means the guy's tired. He's breathing hard. He's not biting on the mouthpiece.
Well, the one thing about the referee is that you are always thinking about the safety of the boxers first. This is amateur boxing, okay? There is no prize at the end other than a trophy. So we're not talking about money. We're talking about the sure aspect, and we want to save lives, and we want to continue lives, and that's why you see so many referees stepping in, because this is amateur boxing. You're there to save these fighters, correct?
That is correct. That's the number 1 rule that we're taught. Safety of the boxer always come first.
Is Romello Webb being too brave for his own good? I mean, he's sitting there and trading with Dontae Benjamin, and Dontae Benjamin is landing nothing but clear, clean punches.
Well, if you look at things, it's based on experience and knowing how to fight. Dontae knows how to save himself and just come on. If you notice, the other gentleman keeps bending his head. His mouthpiece came out a couple of times. He's tired and getting wore down. Eventually, it could be an 8 count stoppage.
Well, he was definitely breathing hard in between rounds. And once again, look at those straight right hands coming down the pike. Dontae Benjamin. But what has been impressive of Benjamin has been that short left hook. This is almost looking like the old days of Ali against Frazier, when Ali was a taller fighter, Frazier the smarter, shorter fighter, and all of a sudden he was able to double up. Look at that double, triple jabs, and he puts Webb into the corner, and Webb cannot find anywhere to go out. This was an impressive third round fight action. If you're in the corner, this is how you want your fighter to come out, with a type of energy that shows that you don't want to leave it in the hands of the judges. You want to be impressed, or I should say impressive, to anyone and everyone who watches and sees you in the ring.
Well, if you notice, Dontae Benjamin didn't waste any energy. When he seen the opening and he seen the guy tired, he went at it.
Let's go up to the ring announcer and find out exactly who won this fight and why. What a spirited effort. And I tell you what, Doug Patterson, we want you to hang around with us a little bit longer, because we're watching some good fighting. We're talking King of the Ring Boxing, King of the Ring Best in Boxing Series number 9. If we get it wrong, you're going to beat my behind. I'm talking USA against Canada, North against South. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give both of these fighters a round of applause. It was a heck of a fight. They went 3 action rounds. Let's hear it for them. Make some noise, Columbus. Ladies and gentlemen, this competition is being sponsored and the trophies by Production Plus Production. We thank them for their work in this fight.
You go to it.
And we're going to find out who won in just a second. We get both fighters in the center of the ring.
Doug Patterson, the third up there. The little Doug.
Representing King of the Ring Boxing, Doug's grandson, Doug Patterson III, for Productions Plus Productions. The winner of this competition comes to you in the blue corner, Dante Benjamin.
Always say referee stops time first.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Dante Benjamin is the winner. That's the way it went. It was a spirited fight. We'll come back for much more action right after this.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where do cats go on vacation? New York.
All right, fight fans, welcome back to King of the Ring Boxing Series. Now it's about the new evolution of boxing. It is the Queen of the Ring. Ronnie Duncan here with you, flying solo. We're going to have some guest analysts join us. Amon Richards is going to join us a little bit later, Doug Patterson and others as we get ready. Now let's go into the ring to talk about the ladies who will be fighting on, of course, this card, who they are and what they represent. All right, fight fans, now it's time to get back to the King of the Ring. But now the King of the Ring has done an evolution. It is all women's boxing. It is time for the Queen of the Ring. First, introducing in the red corner and bout number 8, from Chicago, Illinois, from the Taylor Park Boxing Club, please welcome Natasha McCall. Her opponent in the blue corner, representing Cincinnati, Ohio, from the Cincinnati Fitness Boxing, please welcome Katie Harrington. All right, fight fans, there we have it. We've got Katie Harrington taking on, of course, Natasha McCall. And joins us at ringside is my man, Amon Richards. And I tell you, buddy, we're talking about the ladies who can fight. When you talk about Natasha McCall out of Chicago, Illinois, we know that she is ready to go. But she's taking on Katie Harrington, who happens to be a Cincinnati Bengals fan. And we talked to Katie prior to the fight. Just about to step in this ring is Katie Harrington. Katie, you come out of Cincinnati, Ohio. You're weighing 178 pounds. Are you ready to go against your opponent, Miss Natasha?
Yes, I am.
What do you know about her? I mean, the thing about amateur boxing is that you come into a venue, you're from Cincinnati, she's from Chicago, Illinois. Do you know anything about her at all, and how do you prepare?
I don't, and my coach always says it doesn't matter, right? You just get in there and you box the best you can.
All right, we're talking about this young lady. I think it's very interesting. Sometimes when you say the School of Hard Knocks, how about the School of Hard Knocks with a college degree in psychology? Yes, sports admin as a minor. This young lady has it all. 26 years of age. People are probably wondering, why? 23?
Yeah.
Why do you box?
I love it. I love it. It's a great workout, and I'm addicted, man. Can't get away. I absolutely love it.
Good enough. Now, this stage has been set for the King of the Ring, but the evolution is also about the Queen of the Ring. When you looked at our fight card and knew, of course, you had the guys who'll be fighting, but there will be just as many women, young ladies on this card. Did you say, hey, I've got to be on that?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome. It's really cool to see women's combat sports, MMA and boxing. It really seems to be up and coming, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
Good enough. Now, when I talk to you about boxing, a lot of people don't realize it. When you think about Fred Astaire, when you think about Gene and all of the great dancers of our time, and even Michael Jackson, this young lady, Miss Harrington, used to be a dancer.
I did. 12 years. I danced for 12 years. And then I was going to be a senior in high school, and I talked to my dad. I said, hey, Dad, I think I want to box. And he was like, okay, like, let's find you a gym. And that's just kind of how it happened.
Has dancing helped you in boxing?
Definitely helped my footwork and my awareness of my body. I wasn't naturally gifted at boxing, but the dance helped for sure.
All right, they said the greatest dancer in the ring was the greatest of all time, and his name is Muhammad Ali. Could we be putting Harrington's name next to that?
I don't know if I move as much as him. I don't know if you could go there, but I hope one day I could be considered, almost as good as him. That'd be great.
All right, Katie, let's get ready for round number 1. Now, Naman, what do you know about these two women? If you've seen any of them fight before, but more importantly, what do you think about women's boxing?
I think women's boxing is real. It makes a real big statement. Let you know boxing is not just for males.
No, it's not. And these ladies are fighting with a lot of energy. We just did the interview with Katie Harrington. She said, I wanted to box. For 6 years, I was a dancer. And this young lady is a college graduate. That, of course, Katie, with the USA on her chest, and the shorter of the two. And she said, I knew that if movement was the key, I could do well. Delightful young lady that we met not too long ago. She said she wanted to do well in the ring. And so far, she is holding her own. But the one thing you've got to give credit to is Natasha McCall. McCall is saying, I'm going to put hands on you and make it very difficult. McCall with the jab there, right there in the middle of the ring, stepping in.
Yeah, they both in there showing good heart, real busy. They both trading punches real good.
Overhand right that time by Harrington. Then, of course, McCall comes right back for 1-2. Round number 1 of these women. It is the Queen of the Ring boxing series. And, of course, we've got some very talented women in the ring.
Yeah, they keeping the action going. Red corner. She using her height, trying to use the distance. She's trying to box, using her jab more.
But Katie Harrington is coming on a little stronger here at the end of round number 1. She's being aggressive with her jab, and she just followed through with the overhand right.
Yeah, I think she hurt her a little bit with the overhand right. She's wearing her down. If they keep up this pace, I think she's going to wear her down. Time will tell in this fight.
Oh,
yeah,
nice overhand right that time by
hand.
Katie Harrington, who, of course, got right to McCall at the end of round number 1. Harrington is a Bengals fan. She comes out of the University of Cincinnati, has a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology and a minor in sports admin. I mean, she's 23 years old. Not bad for a person who just took up boxing not too long ago. And the mere fact that she was a dancer, and maybe that's the reason why she was able to land with the overhand right, because she was able to pivot and move. So
Right.
she's a naturally good mover, wouldn't you say?
She's like a natural athlete at that. She's strong, she looks strong. She's smart in there, she's smart, she's thinking. Says she's a college graduate, yeah, she's thinking, she's smart. And this is the Sweet Science, and she has a science degree.
Yes, she has a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology, meaning that, brother, she can read me and you and tell us what the problem is.
Yeah.
Ronnie Duncan, Amon Richards, that is. Now, hey, let's bring us up to date on your career. Here you are one of the top up-and-coming amateur boxers in Northeast Ohio and throughout the country. What has the future held for you? Because I'm going to be honest with you. In my opinion, you are the most avoided young fighter in all of Ohio. People make commitments to fight you at 41, at 52, sometimes at 32, and guess what they end up doing? Pulling out. Why does everyone avoid Mr. Richards?
I don't know, man. I just work hard every day in the gym. I just tell them I'm only human, but I think it's that hard work and that pressure I put down on them. They don't want to meet that, man. They looking for the easy way out, and they know I'm coming to fight every time.
I tell you what, someone who's coming to fight right now is Katie Harrington.
Yeah, she's definitely bringing it. She's not letting up at all. She's not letting up at all.
Natasha McCall comes through with the jab, but it's almost like Natasha gets there, but she doesn't know what to do with her hands once they get in close quarters, whereas Harrington doesn't mind fighting inside or from a distance. See, Harrington with the head movement, trying to make sure which is causing a problem.
Good jab.
And that good jab sitting right there, and she recognizes that she has to move. See, she says that she's a dancer. You don't see some degree of it, but she said, Dad, I wanted to box. And her father said, okay, let's go to the gym. And that's how the story started. And there she is right there.
She's moving side to side.
Moving side to side, but there she is once again with that lead right hand. It has been an impressive punch for her here in round number 2.
Yeah, that right hand been landing home. She's been getting there. She's going.
Oh, look at that jab that time. Strong jab that time by Katie Harrington. Harrington let it out. And see, Harrington is a very strong puncher. Sometimes you can see some people, they may not be the fastest. They may not be the strongest, but they know how to get that jab out again. And there she is. Now she's getting comfortable. She's getting distance on her punches, and she's finding a room for that right hand. And she's finding a room for that left hand as well. Katie Harrington with her backs up against the ropes, but now she's getting a little tired, and fatigue could be the question mark as to what's going on.
Natasha's trying to stay busy.
Natasha's trying to stay busy now, but Natasha better look out for that overhand right. Look at how low her left hand is, and you'll see it in the posturing. And if the corner of Katie Harrington can figure it out, Natasha might be eating more right hands than french fries that I saw her eating earlier in the day. It's round number 2. 2 rounds of boxing of these young ladies getting it done.
She's definitely wearing her down. I see if she keeps up the pressure, she could take this fight.
It's going to be a very tight fight to score because both women and young ladies are doing some admirable work in the ring.
They both coming back with some good punches, good jabs, good right hands. You could tell they both want it. They both want to win. They both want to win.
Well, we can look back at the action of round number 2, and you can make a case for both. Now, Aman, I'm going to ask you real quick. In your opinion, who is the winner of these first 2 rounds, and who are you leaning toward giving this fight if you were one of the judges?
I'll give it to Katie. She has more stronger and effective punches, more clearer punches, and she's pressing the action more.
All right, the bell for the 3rd and final round.
And she comes out with that jab.
Natasha coming out with that jab, making some movement and getting busy.
Natasha's trying to stay busy with this round. She knows she has to pick it up. She understands it's the last round, so she knows she has to pick it up to try to make it close or to try to steal this fight.
But did you see that jab once again, that strong jab, and that right hand almost landing. And once again, you can't hold your left that low. Watch how low Natasha holds that left hand.
It's like she's lazy with the jab. She's patting it, but she's touching her with it. She's trying to use her speed. She's trying to beat her to speed. She realizes she's a little faster than Katie, so she's trying to use her speed, but the right hand is getting there.
Did you see how big that right hand just came across? Just inches from landing very clear.
Yeah, she got to step more with it. She get it there.
Oh, just led with a right hand that time was Katie Harrington. Somebody's mouthpiece just came out, and I think that was Natasha. Now, that, of course, is the first sign of fatigue. When you're spitting that mouthpiece out and nobody's even thrown a shot, that tells you that you're breathing hard.
Yeah, that's
what Katie
that's
Harrington
the old
has to
trick
do,
in the book.
But what Katie Harrington has to do is come out immediately. Don't give her any time to breathe.
Yeah, she had to go. She go downstairs a little more with that right hand. She could take the fight out of her some more. You know, there's been a lot of head hunting in the fight. Not really a lot of body work. But Natasha, she's trying to fight hard. She wants to win bad. This is a close fight.
Close fight and a physical fight, and once again, that's that left hand straight down the pike, but they're scoring punches. It's going to be interesting to see how the judges score this fight. Once again, left hand, straight left hand that time by Katie Harrington.
Katie's coming forward. She kind of got a style like mine. She comes forward.
I would like to see Katie a little bit more active, even though she has scored. It's what you do when you get in clinches like that.
You got to work all times, scoring. You got to score at all times. And Natasha, she's boxing. She's starting to box.
And that's the end of round number 3. Hey, look, Aman Richards, we thank you, man, for joining us here at ringside. Wish you well in nothing but your career.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Outstanding job. Outstanding job. We'll come right back. We'll find out who is the winner of this fight after the judges put it together. This is the King of the Ring Boxing Series, Queen of the Ring. We are boxing.
Mayor Frank Jackson and the City of Cleveland are committed to keeping your neighborhood clean and green through the use of the city-issued trash and recycling carts. It's safe, convenient, and mandatory. For more information, contact the Cleveland Division of Waste Collection at 216-664-3717.
All right, fight fans, we're back. And, of course, we're about to take it up to the ring to find out, of course, who is the winner of the fight between Harrington and McCall. It was an interesting fight, and, of course, both fighters put in a lot of work. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to the ring to find out who is the winner of our first contest of the Queen of the Ring. Let's give both of these young ladies a round of applause. They put in 3 spirited rounds of boxing. Your winner of this competition after 3 rounds, in the red corner, Natasha McCall. So there you have it. Natasha McCall is your winner. She beats, of course, Katie Harrington, but hey, you know what? Katie can come back and fight another day. It's all about activity. Coming up next, we've got Yasmin, who happens to be Rosales. Yasmin Rosales is going to be taking on Sierra Vasquez, and it's going to be Milwaukee, Wisconsin, taking on Toledo, Ohio. All right, fight fans, it's time for our next bout of the evening. 106 pounds. Please welcome from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, from the WCC Boxing Club, Yasmin Rosales. Her opponent from Toledo, Ohio, from Team Cartel. Please welcome Serena Vasquez. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 2 young ladies who are about to step into the ring and do their thing. We're talking 2 young ladies that I had an opportunity to talk to prior to the fight and got a chance to know, especially Yasmin Rosales, who happens to be the biggest Canelo Alvarez fan. She was telling me when she was a young girl, she met Canelo Alvarez, and she said he was sweaty, and I was so young, and I started to cry as soon as he tried to touch me because he was so sweaty. I said, so how do you feel now after boxing for 6 years? I was touching him if I wasn't so sweaty. So that's okay. We're talking about a growth in years. They're only going to go 1-minute rounds. These are 106-pounders. Vasquez is out of Team Cartel. Very interesting young lady who has seen a lot and has done a lot. A young lady who knows a lot about fights and what to do is Asia Smith. I talked to Asia Smith about boxing and where it is. This is what Asia had to say. Now tonight, let's get ready for our main event. And that's the reason why I wanted to bring you in here as an analyst. Okay. Morel McCain has got a very tough match against a 2-time national champion. When you look at her progression and where she has been in her career, and you've seen a young lady who really didn't know how to throw a jab or didn't know how to throw a right hand or even a left hook, and now you see this progression, how impressed are you with what Morel has done in such a short period of time?
I'm very impressed because it's like, you know, for females, I feel like we catch on pretty fast, you know, and I think that watching her, I see a lot of growth in her, especially like the 2 different weight classes that I seen her fight in, 41 to 50 to 68, and it's like very impressive how her speed is and her jabs and her uppercuts and how she just like move, and I'm very impressed. I like it though.
Good enough. She's the mouth, but not from the south, from the northeast. Because in the ring, she is a beast. She's Asia Smith. She's my girly girl. All right, thanks a lot, Asia. We appreciate that. Great time interviewing Asia Smith. We wish her very well in her future with her career as to what she wants to do and what she needs to do. Getting ready for, of course, our next bout. It is Yasmin Rosales taking on Serena Vasquez. And Vasquez comes out of Toledo, Ohio. And I tell you what, Yasmin Rosales, I met her mom, and the family was just simply delightful. They all came from Wisconsin, and they said, this is a big move for us, but this is something that we want to do. We recognize that our daughter loves boxing, and she's an aggressive individual. She says, I love basketball, I love soccer. She said, but there's nothing like boxing for me, and that's why I love it, and that's why I do it. Bell for round number 1, bell for round number 1. And then look at Rosales, man. She is throwing a lot of punches, and she is not playing around, playing pretty active. What is this about? What is this about? Who's responsible for which fight?
So that first one wasn't right.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
As you can see, both of these ladies, Vasquez and Rosales, they are pretty active. And they're not afraid. Maybe you wouldn't expect this in such young kids, but look at them. I tell you what, she's mixing up like Canelo Alvarez, that's for sure. Vasquez coming back, moving ahead. And this is when, as a young fighter, you try to do everything your coaches have tried to tell you to do. That's the bell at the round number 1. When we think about the sponsorships and some of our fights, we'd like to thank Dream Makers Bath and Kitchen of Greater Columbia, of Columbus that is, Stain Skin Tattoo, Zeno's Activewear, Radio 1, Power 107.5 and 106.3, Robert Jefferson Agency Nationwide Insurance, Custom Cuts Barbershop, First Class Entertainment USA Incorporated, Bounce 23 TV, and in body weight loss, lose 2 to 8 inches in 42 days. And the MVB Idlewild Bar. Idlewild Bar. All right, fight fans, before we move on to our next round, we'd like to thank Dream Makers Bath and Kitchen of Greater Columbia, Stain King Tattoo, and Zeno's Activewear, Radio 1, Power 107.5 and 106.3, and Robert Jackson Agency Nationwide Insurance. Bell for round 2. Both of these young ladies, just like round number 1, came out and they weren't playing. Getting it done and having fun. They are throwing punches and bunches. Upstairs, downstairs, standing toe-to-toe. But that time, Vasquez came through with a strong right hand, and Rosales simply took it. Rosales starting to back away, not as aggressive right now. Rosales is being the aggressive fighter and scoring punches, and those body punches are scoring as well. Sloppy overhand right that time by Rosales, but it's all about the body punching right now of the young lady Vasquez. That's the bell for round number 2. Once again, we go back to our sponsors of the King and the Queen Boxing Series. Robert Jackson Agency Nationwide Insurance, we thank you. Custom Cuts Barbershop right here in Columbus, Ohio. First Class Enterprise USA Incorporated, and Bounce 23 TV. And embodied weight loss, lose 2 to 8 inches in 42 days. Just some of the sponsors here for the King of the Ring Boxing Series. And don't forget, NBB Idlewild Bar. That's where the after party happens tonight. Now we get ready for round number 2 of our competition. We're talking about number 3, that is. Let me get this straight. And look at Rosales. She comes out strong. And somebody set a fire over Rosales because I thought she was tired, exhausted at the round number 2. And she came out strong here in round number 3. Someone said to her in the corner, if you don't move forward, you're going to lose this fight. And she took heed to that information. But you've got to give credit where credit is due because, look, coming forward once again is Vasquez. Vasquez is not letting down. Rosales continues to move forward, holding on but still throwing punches. Both of these young ladies making this activity very strong, wicked, and wild. Yasmin Rosales in the blue. Serena Vasquez in the red. I take that back. That's Selena Vasquez in the blue and Yasmin Rosales in the red. My correction, I know who I'm looking at, just that the action is so fast and furious, I might get a little confused sometime. And that is the bell for the end of round number 3, and it was Rosales who got the final blow, a clear right hand down the middle. Wow, this is going to go to the judges, and it's going to be interesting to find out what happens. Let's take a look at both of these fighters and see where we're at. What a great fight we had of those two young ladies. 1 minute of action-packed fighting. All right, let's go up to the ring and find out who is winning and why. All right, young fans, young and old, let's give these two young ladies a round of applause. Vasquez and Rosales. This championship is being sponsored by Stain Skin Tattoo. Now, of course, we will go to the official scorecard. And as soon as we get it, we'll let you know exactly who the winner of this competition is. Someone has to win and someone has to lose. But ladies and gentlemen, without losing any energy, stand up and give these two young ladies some action. They fought hard for your entertainment dollars. We're going to find out who won this one. Two talented young fighters at the beginning of their amateur careers. Once again, this championship is being sponsored by Stainless Skin Tattoo. Also, Custom Cuts Barbershop, the First Class Entertainment USA Incorporated, and Embodied Weight Loss, lose 2 to 8 inches in 42 days. All right, here we have a decision. Our judges have spoken. The winner in the blue corner, Serena Vasquez. What a fight we have between, of course, these two young ladies. Now let's get ready for our next bout of the evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce our next two fighters coming to the ring. In the red corner, from Louisville, Kentucky, from the Throwdown Boxing Club, please welcome Katrina Thomas. Her opponent, from Naptown, Indianapolis, Indiana, from the Spearman Boxing Club, Elena Oshale. Elena Oshla.
So the ones with the stars behind them people are present. They're gonna present the trophies. Right here.
All right, we've got, of course, two very good fighters getting ready to fight now very next bout. And I'll tell you what, we've got some sponsors who have done their job and have made everything so interesting and so great. And we just want to thank everyone for coming forward and making it happen.
What you sipping on?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready. We've got 3 more rounds of boxing action, 1 minute around, 125 pounds. It's Katrina Thomas out of Louisville, Kentucky, in the red corner. She has the white top on and the red trunks. And then you've got Elena Oshla out of the Spearman Boxing Club in Indianapolis, Indiana. She's got the white top with the blue trunks on. Elena comes out real fast, starting with that jab. And Elena is moving forward. And she is trying to chop down the wood real quick of Katrina Thomas. Oshla has been boxing for quite some time now. She's been boxing for about 2.5 years, 15 years old, high school freshman, plays basketball, but said, Mr. Duncan, I love boxing. And I'm telling you right now, that young lady is moving really fast, and she's got head movement, and she's got a steady jab. And she's got, of course, Katrina Thomas backing up the entire time here in round number 1. Once again, it's been nothing but the aggressive, come-forward spirit of Elena, and that's round number 1. Not bad for a young lady who just picked up boxing 2.5 years ago, but it's about the commitment. It's about not only what we do, what we learn, but what we know in that boxing ring. People are enjoying themselves here tonight in Columbus, Ohio, and we're at Live. We had an opportunity to talk to the Live owner, Veronica Meeks, and enjoyed our conversation with her. She also enjoys helping young people learn and get adjusted to all aspects of life. So it's been a fun time and a good time. All right, round number 2 is coming up between these two young ladies. Both are getting advice from their corners as to how to progress and move on to the next aspect of their agenda and to move on and learn. Coming up next, we're going to have Ashley Silva. She's going to be fighting Maria Bonner of the Bob Davis Boxing Club. That should be an interesting competition. 1 minute rounds in the 110-pound weight class. Here we have round number 2, Katrina Thomas and Elena Osla. And once again, it's a repeat of round number 1. Osla moving forward, being the aggressor. But no, things are turned just a little bit that time because Thomas came right back. Katrina Thomas, that is, in the red trunks. Katrina Thomas going toward the body while Elena continues to go head hunting. Perpetual motion. Look at that. She doesn't care what she's being hit with. She's going to continue to fight forward. But moving forward, that right hand followed by the left hand followed by the right. Elena Osla, 15 years of age, white top, blue trunks trimmed in black. And she continues to answer to her corner. She's throwing those punches, 1, 2, 3, down the middle, 1, 2, 3, down the middle. And it's been an impressive night for the young lady out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Spearman Boxing Club is where she comes from. Naptown, a good time, held by all. And that's what it's about, having fun and getting things done. This has been a fun time. Nice crowd on hand here at Live. Just off of Bryce Road. Off of Channing Boulevard. It is the King of the Ring, Best in Boxing Series number 9. All right, here we are, third and final round. Third and final round coming up. And once again, it's all about the aggressive aspect and the nonstop punching of the young lady from Indianapolis, Elena Osla. Elena Osla just continues to move forward. And when you're moving forward like that, you leave very little room for your opponent to do anything that is going to be effective. This is where moving side to side could be a tremendous trait and skill for Thomas to learn. Because if Thomas could make Elena, who's just moving forward, get out of the way where she's not in a punching position, she could counter her and do some damage. See, like that, just simply moving to the side. A simple step if someone just simply moving forward. You don't have to punch with them because they may be faster. You have to time them. And she just simply is walking her down. There you have it. We'll come back with a final decision in a minute.
One in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
All right, Fight fans, we're back. We're about to find out who won this next competition between these two young ladies. It may be something that is pretty easy to figure out because the one young lady who was doing all the movement and getting it all done may have easily been the winner, but we're going to find out how the judges looked at it and saw this fight, because It's not so much what we think. It's about what the judges think and how they think the individual may have won the fight. All right, fight fans, it's time to put up or shut up, get down and throw down. The winner of this competition comes out of the red corner, Katrina Thomas. So there you have it. Katrina Thomas was the winner of this competition. And Katrina Thomas comes out, of course, Louisville, Kentucky. She was taking on Elena Ochoa, and we got it wrong from a standpoint of who was in which corner and which fighting. So the young lady in, of course, the red corner, Katrina Thomas, was the winner. My apologies for that. And that was Katrina Thomas. We want to thank Katrina for the outstanding job that she did in winning the fight and being the aggressor. So we got to make sure that we get everything right the next time. My apologies, wrong name, right fighter won. I just had the wrong people in the wrong position. All right, fight fans, it's time for our next fight. And this competition comes in the 106-pound weight class. 110-pound weight class, I take that back. All right, fight fans, it's time for our next bout of the evening. In the red corner, from the Market Street Boxing Club in Bluffton, Indiana, Ashley Silva. And she'll be taking on a young lady from Cleveland, Ohio, from the Bob Davis Boxing Club, Mariah Bonner. Ashley Silva versus Mariah Bonner, 1 minute rounds. 3 1-minute rounds. All right, now we're going to get this one right. Ashley Silva taking on Mariah Bonner. Bob Davis Boxing Club, as Bonner happens to be, of course, the little sister of course, Marcel Bonner. So maybe the Bonners go 2 for 2 here in Columbus, Ohio. Ashley Silva of the Market Street Boxing Club in Bluffton, Indiana. Ashley, of course, in the red corner, wearing the all black and white, taking on, of course, Bonner, who has on the white gear trimmed in yellow and black. Okay, they've got some adjustments that have to take place with the headgear of Ashley Silva. We'll find out in just a few minutes what that's all about. As they adjust the headgear and getting things ready. Don't forget, fight fans, there's a post party. There's a post party right after this. Make sure you get ready. Come on in, meet some of the fighters. Get an opportunity to meet Doug Patterson, Jr., Sr., and Doug Patterson III. They'll all be standing there to sign autographs. Idlewild. All right, fight fans. We're getting ready to get the headgear on Ashley Silva. Market Street Boxing Club. It's going to be interesting when you see the sister of Marcel Bonner, Mariah Bonner, fight. You know, Mariah Bonner is a very talented artist. And she took up boxing because her little brother, or big brother, I should say, is very good at it. She says, I want to try it. Well, now she's going to get that opportunity. Bonner comes through with that jab. Bonner's jab has put Silva's head straight up in the air a few times. Silva starts backing up like, what is going on? And why am I moving back? And this young lady, she can't spin around and turn around. All right, things have calmed down a little. Silva comes back. Silva didn't expect this from Bonner. Bonner continues to go forward. These are 1 minute rounds. Bonner is moving forward with that jab, and she came off a bunch of energy. My first fight, I want to look good. I want to be impressive. My second fight, I want to look better. My third fight, I just want to put the heat on, and that's exactly what she is doing. Bonner and Silva in the ring. Ashley Silver, Mariah Bonner, and this is fun. That's the bell for the end of round number 1. I would never have expected the little tiger that's inside Mariah Bonner. I mean, you meet her and she's delightful, she's quiet, she doesn't even appear to have an aggressive bone in her body, then yet she gets in the ring and she's being aggressive and she doesn't care. Outstanding, getting it done, having fun. Gotta love it. Of course, we got, some very talented fighters and a lot of great things going on. And you got to enjoy it for what it's worth, because these fighters are moving up the ladder and getting things done. Young, talented fighters moving ahead, making it work. And you've got to appreciate what happens in a situation like that. All right, getting ready for round number 2 of these young ladies. Mariah Bonner got a lot of contingency, a contingent group. Part of her contingency from Cleveland, Ohio. Okay, Bonner just got hit with an overhand right. That time by Silver, and Silver came out looking impressive. Silver moving side to side. Silver getting a lot of action in, making a lot of jerky movements, and it's making Bonner think before she throws punches. And Silver is having some advantages. A body shot that time to Bonner. It's what Silver does when she gets hit, and that's not good. And that's what Bonner comes through. Referee rules she shouldn't be going over the back of the head, but that's not Bonner's problem. That's more of Silver moving out and turning her body. Bonner has to hit what's in front of her. Well, Bonner just took a straight right hand that time by Silver. Silver's having an impressive second round, that is. Bonner's getting a little tired. It's going to be interesting if this gets to the third and final round. Bonner comes right back with 2 strong jabs right down the middle. And those jabs are going to be the reason why she could perhaps win or lose this fight. Oh my goodness, this is a good fight. 2 young ladies who want to move in and get it done. This is so much fun watching these young fighters move in their career right now. All right, well, Push Davis, of course, is Marcel Bonner's trainer. She's telling her what she needs to do. He's calm, he's collected. And I think that's so important, especially when you talk about these fighters at this part of their career, when it comes down to training, when it comes to their abilities. Boxing action right here from live. And these fighters are trying to get it done. Somebody's got to win it. Somebody's got to lose it. They get 1 minute to box, 1 minute to rest, 1 minute to box, 1 minute to rest. If that's not cardio for your behind, I don't know what is. All right, here we are, third and final round. Somebody told Bonner that when you got her in trouble, you got to continue to throw punches. And that's exactly what she's doing. Both of these young ladies might be a little tired right now, third and final round. It's amazing when they're so young at this age. They start off quick. Bonner continues to score with that jab. Once again, it's that right hand. That left hand and that right hand. There she does it again. Bonner does it again with the right hand. But here comes a young lady, Silver, from Market Street, Indiana. Representing Market Street, Indiana, turning up. She turns around, she comes forward. And she continues to come forward and get hit by Bonner. Bonner. That was one that will take your energy, take your gas to find out if you will last. Fun times for fun people. Boxing in Ohio. King of the Ring, Best in Boxing Series number 9. These young ladies trying to keep it busy. Morel McCain, of course, a young lady who is trying to get some things done. And Morel is, of course, going to be joining us a little bit later to talk about not only her fight, but what is going to happen with her fight. Morel McCain, who happens to be one of the most talented young amateurs in the country. So the thing about it is that when you talk about these young ladies, they get it done. We're going to talk to Morel McCain in just a few minutes, but we're going to, of course, get ready to find out who won this talented fight between Marcel Bonner and, of course, the young lady Ashley Silva. And now that I got you here, the one and talented, Morel McCain, who do you think won that fight? You saw it?
I'm going to go with the blue corner. She was a little bit more aggressive. Her shots came up a lot cleaner.
All right, we're going to find out exactly who won it and get it done. Let's find out who won this competition of this fight between these two young, talented ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure that we give these young ladies a round of applause. They put in the work. Yes, they did. I'm talking Silva and Bonner.
That sounds legit.
Of course, this fight is being sponsored by Zeno's Activewear and Radio 1 Power 107.5 and 106.3. And the winner of this fight, in the red corner, Ashley Silva. Ashley Silva is the winner of the fight. All right, well, we just saw something that I didn't think
ladies.
Was possible, but you've got to say good work to both of these young ladies, and I'm talking about Silva and Bonner. Now, I looked at that fight, and Bonner had Silva turning her head, turning back, looking more like an amateur, where Bonner looked like somebody who was more ready. What does a decision sometimes like that do? And it's so unfair to these young people because somebody can experience something like that and say, you know what, after that, I don't want to box anymore. That's not good for the sport.
No. You know what? It happened to me before. And honestly, it just made me go harder. It's not going to be close no more. You just got to get that in your mind. When it's not close, they don't have no choice but to give it to you.
All right, we're talking about one of the most talented young boxers in America. Congratulations on what you did in the Midwest. You are now the queen. It's your haven, baby girl. How was it? What was it like? You know, I was cheering for you from afar in Washington, D.C. What was it like? And please tell your mama said hello. How was it like for you?
It was a new experience. And with new experiences, I'm learning new things. A lot of people was telling me about the altitude out there. I didn't know anything about the difference in sea level or anything like that as far as when you go visit somewhere. So I got to experience that for the first time, which is just going to prepare me for the future.
Good enough. Well, I know you got to get ready for your main event. You are taking on a young lady who has some credentials. I haven't seen anybody you fight like this. She's 26 years old. All right, she's a southpaw. She can go either way. She's had 12 fights, only one loss, and she is a two-time national champion. When you know you've got something like that in front of you, how important is it?
It's very important. I don't underestimate anybody. I train to win with everybody.
Good enough.
Against everybody.
Morel McCain, you go do your thing.
All right.
All right, now it's time for our next two fighters getting ready to fight. Let's give it up for these two young ladies from Cincinnati, Ohio, from the Capital Punishment Boxing Club. Please give it up to Miss Evans, Kalisha Evans. She'll be taking from Dayton, Ohio, Serena Mowry from the Breakout Boxing Club. 152 pounds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back, getting ready for the fight. But, of course, in our main event, we've got a young lady didn't want to talk, and now she does.
I don't still.
But we got to get her to talk because not only is she going to be good, but when we talk about Stephanie Malone, Stephanie, you have seen more women fight here on a local show than sometimes you even get at nationals. This must be impressive to you to see so many young ladies get that opportunity.
It is.
Why is it?
Just because it's a male-dominant sport, so it's always good to see females, do a sport that's supposed to be a male sport.
You know, when you talk about these young ladies and what they do, they learn from individuals like you. You've only lost one fight in your boxing career. That was in Honduras. I think a lot of people are surprised that you're getting an opportunity not only given an opportunity, but have given the opportunity to someone like Morrell McCain to challenge you at your highest peak. A two-time national champ out of Louisville, Kentucky. Ain't nothing like representing and keeping it real for Louisville. How did you get into boxing?
I was at the gym just working out, you know, what I do every day, and a guy invited me to come to a gym. I went, I didn't like it. I left for 3 months, went back, and I just stuck with it.
Not only did you stick with it, the one thing that's impressive is that you know the biggest name in women's professional boxing. You spar with a young lady from Flint, Michigan. She may have Al Heyman in a corner, but you have demonstrated to me that you have no fear whatsoever of the very classy, talented Claressa Shields. It's not to say you're talking bad about her, but you know that you have learned so much, but you have given her good work. How have the two complemented one another?
It's always good when you got, like, you know, someone who is dominant in the sport, already put in the work, got to where you know you want to be, where you can see, envision yourself to be. So it's always a pleasure just to, you know, have that in front of you. Just as well as like tonight, like it's like a pleasure to have me in the ring with Morrell McCain.
Good enough. Once again, we want to thank you. I know you want to get back to your work, girlfriend, but do your work and keep it real for Louisville, okay? All right, good enough. You're going to see in our main event, King of the Ring Boxing Series. It's going to be a good one, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. All right, breakout boxing gym, Serenity Mowry in the blue corner. She's a young lady in the gray, young lady in the blue. Out of the red corner, it's Claressa Evans. Evans the shorter of the two. Evans punching up. And that's when you got to keep that little buzzsaw away. And I think there may be a standing 8 count. No, the referee is going to stop the contest. It's pretty epidemic. And a young lady who said, you know what, I've had enough. And she was crying and she was like, I can't believe I lost. And that's what happens. And the referee just simply stopped it. And his rationale was he wanted to make sure he protected the fighter. And when you're talking amateur fighters and you're talking how young women try to learn and try to get things done, it's unfortunate. But out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Capital Punishment Boxing Club, it is, of course, Claressa Evans. Claressa Evans. So Claressa Evans is going to win this competition. Referee stops the contest. We'll come right back with much more boxing action. Is the king and queen of the ring.
Car crashes, accidents. We're telling you why be next.
So listen to us. Don't drive and text.
Keep Cleveland safe and do not text when you drive.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to get ready for our next competition. Let's go up and find out who we have in the ring. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our next fight is coming in the 152-pound weight class. In the red corner, from Indianapolis, Indiana, Naptown, from the Krista Morehouse Boxing Club, Amelia Reyes. She'll be taking on a young lady from Columbus, Ohio, from the Next Generation Boxing Club, Simone Wagner. These will be 2-minute rounds. 2-minute rounds in the 142-pound weight class. All right, we've got two young ladies getting ready. Emily Reyes, and she calls herself Amelia, not Emily. Reyes taking on Simone Wagner. This is the 152-pound weight class. And I can tell you right now, the young lady in the blue corner, Simone Wagner, is going to run right out at her. And that's exactly what she did. Both young ladies coming out, throwing some punches and trying to throw them in bunches, trying to find a place to land. Nothing effective thus far. Wagner trying to move along with that jab. Reyes coming straight at Wagner. Emily Reyes finding a home for that left hand and that jab. Oh, that right hand that time. And it got, of course, Wagner all up in the ropes. Referee gives her a standing 8 count just to make sure she's okay. She gets a standing 8 count. They bring it back. And once again, it's all about who can get it in. Amelia Reyes out of Indianapolis. Staying steady with the jab and being busy with it as well. After taking that right hand, and there's another right hand coming down the pipe by Reyes. Amelia has been dominating this action. Amelia has the black headgear on. The young lady, once again, getting a little bit of trouble in that corner. And she just can't find any answer for the jab in the right hand. I'm talking about Simone Wagner with the yellow headgear. And she almost gets knocked down. The only thing that held her up was the rope, and that will be another 8 count. Remember, these only 2-minute rounds, and this has been 2 minutes of activity. Referee stops the contest. The fighter does not want any more. That's the way this fight will end. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause to both of these young ladies for a job well done. They fought their behinds off as long as they could. The referee stops the contest. TKO, your winner. In the blue corner, Simone Wagner.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our main event of the evening. Already in the ring in the blue corner from Cleveland, Ohio, from the Bob Davis Boxing Club, Muriel McCain. Her opponent just seconds away from entering the ring in the red corner from Louisville, Kentucky, from the Raul Torres Boxing Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stephanie All right, fight fans, it is time for our main event of the evening. It is the King of the Ring Boxing Series number 9, and it is the Queen of the Ring Championship. And this one will be a good one. I'm talking about Muriel McCain out of Cleveland, Ohio, taking on Stephanie Malone. Joining me at ringside will be Doug Patterson of Productions Plus Productions, and Doug will be giving me and you the outside version of what is going on as the color analyst of this bout. Doug, let me bring you in. There's a lot of people that you could have had Muriel McCain fight for the Queen of the Ring Championship, and you chose one of the toughest fighters in the country. Tell me why.
Well, after Muriel won the Eastern and the Western box-off in New Mexico and beat the 3-time defending champion, we decided to say, let's see what you got. You want to go to the Olympics? You want to move on? Turn pro and meet Carissa Shields down the line, then all the competition from now on is going to be tough. What you got? Let's bring it.
Muriel McCain, just minutes ago, we talked to her prior to this championship, and she said this is something she wants. She's taking on Stephanie Malone. Stephanie Malone is 26 years old. A southpaw, can go either way. She's only had 12 fights, but she's won 11 of them, And when she did lose, she lost in Honduras. You got both of these fighters posturing. Morel McCain in the tiger trunks taking on the young lady in the blue, Stephanie Malone. Stephanie Malone is a two-time national championship USA boxer. That says a lot about her resume and her credentials as she steps in this ring against Morel McCain. The other thing that's impressive about Stephanie Malone is that she is a sparring partner for one of the biggest names in women's boxing in the world, in Clarissa Shields. That's an impressive resume.
Yes, it is. And that's why we said, now you'll see what you're all about, Morel. You want it, now you got it.
Both fighters trying to establish themselves here in the first round, scheduled for 3. Morel McCain, whoa, with an uppercut, but she also got caught with a real good shot that time, countered by Malone. Malone hits her with the right hand. Morel McCain trying to establish that jab and putting it out there. Morel has grown leaps and bounds over the years. It's been her ability to continue to throw punches and bunches at any time. But she recognizes that she's in against a real, true fighter. I don't think this will be the first time Morel McCain and Stephanie Malone see each other in the ring, because both of their skills are very similar. Once again, nice little combination that time by Stephanie Malone. Malone in the blue. And then she just got hit for left hand, right hand, followed by that with Morel McCain. Morel McCain putting the action on. Kamal Hassan, of course, your referee. That's the bell for round number 1. Very tough round to score as to who wins. Push Davis happens to be the head coach of Morel McCain. He's telling him he wants to see a little bit more movement, come around with the right hand. Instead, he had that jab. Morel McCain has been getting a lot of attention, deservingly so. But now she has to be in a position where she takes herself to the next level. And this is just an example of that here. Mel McCain, along with a lot of different boxers, a lot of different people who are watching the action from afar. Louisville, Kentucky, home of the greatest Muhammad Ali, home of Jimmy Ellis, home of Greg Page. Basketball, Wes Unseld, Derek Anderson, Darnell Durf Griffin. Some of the best have come out of Kentucky, and we have appreciated their time. A little confusion on the side of the ring. Referee Kamal wants to make sure everybody does what they do. Both of these fighters don't need to be distracted for any reason in the neutral corner at the beginning of round number 2. Morel McCain staying on her feet, coming out with that jab. Morel McCain. Oh, straight right hand that time by Morel McCain. One thing about Stephanie Malone, she looks like the stronger fighter. Both of these fighters are in a spirited battle. What does Morel McCain need to work on? She's gained weight. She's moved up in weight class. And maybe one of those punches hurt her somewhat, feeling the power of Stephanie Malone, because it seems that she wants to move on her feet in lateral movement. Nice right hand that time. McCain losing her balance. Once again, it's the jab, is the right hand by Stephanie Malone. Malone throws a short right hand. McCain has to be a little bit more active. Does she have McCain? Now she's reaching. McCain just go for counter right hand on Malone, and McCain comes back once again, putting Malone up against the ropes. McCain has had her moments here in round number 2. Could the problem be the switching, going back and forth? that Stephanie Malone has been showing Morel McCain a lot of different looks. Morel McCain tying up both fighters. These fighters are getting active. Morel McCain getting, of course, Stephanie Malone up against the rope. Both fighters are being active with the free hand. That's the bell for round number 2. All right, well, here we are. Third and final round. And we knew this would be a matter of time between these two fighters. We talked to both of them prior to the fight. You heard a conversation, of course, with Stephanie Malone and our conversation with Morel McCain. Both ladies recognize that this will not be the first and only time they see one another because their skills are so similar. And it's all about skill set. It's all about experience and in-the-ring toughness. Morel McCain doesn't appear to be breathing too hard. It's the third and final round. This is going to be a good one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the third and final round, championship round. Morel McCain and Stephanie Malone.
Both women are coming out and they are throwing punches in bunches.
2 minutes. 4 rounds, 2 minutes.
I've just been told they're going to do 4 2-minute rounds. 4 2-minute rounds?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going 4 2-minute rounds between these ladies. We've got one more round if they continue.
And as you just heard, we're going an extra round. These have been 4 2-minute rounds between Morel McCain and Stephanie Malone. Right hand that time, right down the middle. Morel McCain took it pretty tough. But how many punches like that can she take? And she took another right hand straight down the middle by, of course, Stephanie Malone. Morel McCain has to get tough. What does she have left? This is not a game where you want to show how you can take a punch, but how you can give them too. Morel McCain is getting a lot of distractions outside the ring.
She got to get her hair.
All right, referee Kamal wants to make sure Morel McCain gets her hair in order, you know, and she wants to make sure that this does not get out of hand. You know, Morel McCain is in a situation she has never been in before since I've been watching her box, where she has to really come from behind. She just get hit with an overhand right that basically hit her on the side of the head. Maybe not a scoring blow. Oh, Morel McCain came through with a right hand. Morel McCain came through with a straight right hand. They were both ladies are trading and are getting involved. Morel McCain, and of course, okay, maybe there's been some confusion. The fighters are taking off their headgear, and they are taking on the scores. So I was being told by Doug Patterson at ringside, and I got bad advice, that this was going to be 4 2-minute rounds. It was officially 3 3-minute rounds. It's going to be interesting to find out how the judges score this one.
And we're going to find out in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give both of these fighters a round of applause. 3 exciting rounds, 2 of the best fighters in the nation at this weight class, and they are getting it on. Let's give them both a round of applause. Stephanie Malone and Morrell McCain. Excellent action in the ring. These are some of the best 2 fighters in the United States at 152 pounds. And trust me, this will not be the first nor last time these 2 young ladies will meet. There's some confusion going on right now as to whether or not these are 2 3-minute rounds, but the judges are telling us the fight is over and the fight is only going down to a 3-round competition. So the judges are tabulating the scores on the card to allow no confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize if you believe that this was going to be 4 rounds. I was told at ringside by Doug Patterson it would. Unfortunately, this is only a 3-round competition. We're now getting the judges to score the card. Once again, we apologize for the confusion. This was not a 4-round fight, but a 3-round competition. Once again, let's give both of these young ladies a round of applause as they stood and gave their best to the best 152-pounders in the world. And this will not be the last time you will see Stephanie Malone against Morrell McCain. Now it's time to figure out who won this competition. Let's find out from the judges. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the winner of this competition. After 3 rounds of boxing, your winner in the red corner, Stephanie Malone. Stephanie Malone is your winner. And there you have it. Stephanie Malone is the winner in the red corner. Pretty upsetting loss for Morrell McCain. When we come back, we'll talk to Stephanie Malone and find out how excited she is about winning this competition. We'll be back on TV 20 because we are Cleveland.
We're getting away from the manual way of doing business in the city of Cleveland. We're going to go to curbside recycling, which would actually be better for the city and also for the residents too. The less that we put into the landfill will be more of a financial savings for the city, and also that's less garbage that's going into the landfill. Recycling is easy as 1, 2, 3. You bag them, you put them into the blue container, you roll it to the curb, and the truck will do the rest. We're committed to making Cleveland a cleaner, greener city of choice.
Back here, of course, with the final King of the Ring boxing series, but it was the Queen of the Rings tonight. And, of course, the big winner in a very big fight was Stephanie Malone. Stephanie, you came out in the first round. It was a very tight one, but you found a home for that right hand in round number 2 as well as in round number 3. Talk about it.
Shit, nothing else was following. You know, I didn't plan on fighting today. I came through for my coach, so I just did what was working. I just landed the 2. So.
You know, and I told you, and so many people, this will not be the first time nor the last time the 2 of you fight. Mm-hmm. You 2 are 2 of the best 152-pounders in the world. Mm-hmm. You knew that going in, and you were trying to make a statement.
I mean, I never heard of her. I didn't know who she was, but, you know, I don't scout my fighters. You know, I just train hard, and whatever's in front of me, I just do what I train. So that's how I go. How beneficial has it been for you to have been in the ring with someone like Claressa Shields and say, it doesn't make a difference? I know what it's like to be with the best in the world, and I'm one of the best in the world. You know, just like anything else, you know, it ain't going to be the first time, it ain't going to be the last. One day I hope to be the best, you know, and I want people to feel like that when they get in the ring with me. So, you know, I just take every day, every practice as a lesson and just build on it.
Good enough. Once again, congratulations on the
sir.
big win. You're the Queen of the Ring.
Thank you.
Queen of the Ring Boxing Series number 9 right here in Columbus, Ohio. It has been a pleasure. For all of those who helped to put this together, of course, at TV20, we want to thank you because we got an opportunity to see the future of boxing. The next time you hear the name Stephen Malone or the next time you hear the name Romel McCain, you might see them in the Olympics wearing the red, white, and blue. Two of the very best putting on a test before your very eyes right here on TV20 because we're Cleveland. I'm Ronnie Duncan. For all those who work with this, we want to say thank you and stay with us because we'll be boxing and throwing jabs at you. Make sure you don't get hit by the punches, but make sure you see us coming. As always, 3, 2, 1, I'm done.